Before we start practicing our cursive alphabet, I wanted to go over some cursive writing basics. So when I teach my classes online, I like to give my learners some direction as we're writing. So here are the basics that I will be covering. Big line, big bump, big loop, little loop, curve, tail, and squiggle. I feel like by using some of these directions as I practice writing with learners, it just kind of gives them a visual to know what to expect next. So a couple things before we get started. I have a nice pencil that's sharpened. The pencil rests on my second finger, my pointer finger, and my thumb, just to help to move it. I always find that I have to remind myself to not hold my pencil too tightly. Sometimes my hand gets tired. Maybe that's happened to you as well. So if you find that your hand is getting a little tired or sore, you can take a little break or just remind yourself, like I do, to loosen my grip on the pencil. So let's start up here at the top with big line. And this is just super basic. I know we're talking about cursive, but let's just go top to bottom. Now in cursive, big lines can go in all directions. They can even go from bottom to top, a little bit different from print. And then little line, starting at the dotted line, coming straight down. Now you can see my paper is angled. I write right-handed. If you are left-handed, you can just turn your page this way. By angling it, it just makes it easier on the hand to write at an angle. So just a few little lines. And you can do some diagonal little lines as well. I know I've mentioned this before, how I consider myself an artist when I'm writing, whether it's print, cursive, and beyond. So that helps me to take my time and be more thoughtful as I'm writing. And then the more you get comfortable with writing in cursive, then the faster you will be able to write. But I'm always encouraging learners to slow down in the beginning. So we have our big line and little line. The next one is a big bump. So a big bump could just be a bump like that, going the other direction. It could be a big bump here, little bump, just to give you some examples. On the next line, big loop. So you know in cursive we have some loops. So we'll just go straight up from the baseline, big loop, big loop. And loops can go in all directions, but we'll just do this one direction for our example. A little loop, little loop, little loop. And on the last line here, we have a curve. And I use the curve as a way to give instruction on how to connect letters. So if we're at the baseline going from one letter and we're going to connect into another letter, I'll say curve. Now sometimes there's bigger curves. A bump is a little more predominant and a curve not so much. And you might find as you watch my videos, sometimes I kind of go back and forth between the two, but it makes sense as you're writing along with me. So in connecting cursive letters, you will see me use this terminology of curve, and then that will allow us to go back and write our letter. But that is how we connect two letters. Then the tail. You can see here I have two tails, but when I give the direction of tail, That's all it is. That is what helps to connect the letters. And then one more, what a fun word, squiggle. So in some letters, I think maybe one or two, we have a little bit of a squiggle. And you'll find as you go through my videos that I will have a couple other words that I throw in. I really like to have fun with this and make it interesting. Okay, so now you have the basics down. I encourage you to go into the description to see where you can find the worksheets, or maybe you've already purchased worksheets or a journal from me and you are ready to get started. So now you know the basics. Go ahead and work through the alphabet A through Z.